What's the good word, y'all? DKB here. So we had a mass exodus, as did all the other 31 teams during the final cutdown day. And there was a lot of interesting selections in terms of who we kept and who we actually let go. But when we take a look at what has some of the recent transactions have been for our practice squad and some of the changes, you notice, especially with some of these players that we've tried to work out in recent weeks, is that it seems like Joe Douglas would prefer to have his practice squad retain some of the depth at cornerback that either they're accustomed to, or at least it would be a good fit as normal for what the defense is operating with. And there was a cut that we made in Javelin Guidry, who ended up signing on with the Arizona Cardinals, who was actually recently released. And this could make for a perfect marriage reunion again. Now, there wasn't any one particular thing other than essentially the numbers game that led to Javelin Guidry not being kept by the New York Jets, at least on an active 53. Obviously, there was some increase in some of the stats. The missed tackle percentage probably being one of the biggest ones, as it almost doubled essentially. But irregardless, we could definitely tell that there was proven NFL talent. He was definitely a solid slot cornerback, if nothing else. But with that position being purely manned by Michael Carter II, there wasn't going to be much of a need for it, especially with some other guys that could play slot in a pinch if necessary. But this did leave us very thin in terms of somebody that isn't purely established and ready to go behind Michael Carter II. And then the fact that if injuries were to take place, regardless if it's on a boundary or slot for cornerback, are we going to be grasping at straws in order to try to keep this secondary in top-notch shape? And that seems like kind of what's happening already. So some of these stars have been aligning for us. Javelin Guidry is recently released by the Arizona Cardinals, which means that could be a perfect marriage reunion for us again. We did see Michael Carter II also go down with a hip injury today, so we'll see how long that prolongs or what that ends up looking like and how it can impact us. And then again, going back into some of these recent moves, we've seen that we ended up bringing the cornerback Craig James back from the Eagles. We also ended up trying to work out Jimmy Moreland, which would have been a nice pickup if this Javelin Guidry news didn't hit. But I'm all for it. I think Javelin Guidry would be an amazing practice squad addition back to us. He'll get some familiarity back. It would be interesting to find out why he was cut by the Arizona Cardinals, but I couldn't really find a whole lot. So irregardless, their trash can be what was a treasure of ours already. So either way, whether he's stepping right back in if Michael Carter II isn't ready for this week 2 matchup against the Browns, or if he ultimately ends up just staying on there as an emergency option, I think it is a safe bet to say that would be a win-win on both sides. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Are we set with having players like Craig James that maybe we can develop and get ready to see, some snaps here and there in emergency situations, or if the season gets out of hand and they want to test some depth? Or would you guys bring Javelin Guidry back now, and regardless if we need him or not, ensure that we have adequate cornerback depth? Either way, let me know what your thoughts are. I'll catch you guys again. Peace.